So I know that our minds are on Apple's September event and the release of the new iPhone, the announcement, iOS 17, and everything that comes with that, but we kind of forgot about the iPad and the iPad Pro because now that the 10th generation iPad has gotten that full revamp, it looks like Apple's finally going to go back to the iPad Pro where it all started in 2018 to really give us a brand new version of the iPad Pro. From 2018 to now, we've seen small little iterations, but it looks like Apple's gearing up to finally give us a fully revamped iPad Pro from a hardware perspective. So I want to talk about everything that we know about the iPad because I'm an iPad Pro first user. I love my iPad. I use it as my main machine at all times. So let's talk about what we know about the 2024 iPad Pro lineup and what to expect. Let's get into it. So when the 2018 iPad Pro debuted with its new industrial design language, USB-C, the new camera bump, that new ProMotion display, everything kind of changed for the iPad in that sense. But since then, Apple's been very stagnant, right? They brought that industrial design language slowly but surely. It started to go to the iPad Air, then it went to the iPad Mini, then now down to the iPad 10th generation. Now the whole lineup from a visual standpoint to the normal person that walks into an Apple store, they just look like all the same iPad in different sizes, in different colors. They know nothing about the internals. They don't know what a Pro versus an Air versus a Mini is going to do for you from a software capability standpoint. So Apple's kind of in this weird situation where, you know, the iPad 10th generation or even the 9th generation, if you're still up for that old design language, is enough for 90% of tablet users. The iPad Pro for most people is extremely overpowered. Even for myself that edits in 4K, I use things like LumaFusion and Affinity Photo and I kind of push it a little bit. The M1 and M2 iPad Pro are still pretty overpowered for my personal use cases. But I just love the iPad Pro and I like it as my main machine. So what is Apple going to do to really differentiate itself and kind of reinvigorate itself when it comes to the tablet market? Because yes, Apple is kind of killing the tablet market right now. People, especially in the US, don't call it tablets, they call everything an iPad. Even if somebody has an Android tablet or if a little kid is holding an Android tablet and playing with it, people are calling that an iPad. They're not calling that an Android tablet, which is kind of funny to think. So I do want to bring up kind of the most concrete rumors that we have about the new iPad Pro, and it's going to start with that iPad Pro lineup, the 11-inch and the 12.9-inch. So the first thing that we know pretty for certain is that we're going to switch to OLED. The 12.9-inch iPad Pro will be an OLED display. We'll get rid of the mini LED. Mini LED is great, but we did see kind of that blooming situation in the very beginning. People like to really hype up when an error happens or when there's something that's kind of like in your face. But the blooming issue obviously is nonchalant because we haven't really heard much about it. The only time that blooming issue ever occurs is when you're in a very dark environment and you go to full brightness on the mini LED display. And again, that's only on the 12.9-inch iPad Pro. And normally in those very dimly lit or dark rooms, you're not going full brightness because that's going to hurt your eyes. And that's why you see the bleed. And you have to have a very contrasty situation. So maybe being in dark mode in the Notes application and then having the cursor move around, yes, there's a little bit of a bloom. But outside of that, there's nothing really to concern yourself about. But that mini LED will now be replaced by OLED tech because yes, even though the mini LED was great, OLED is still the cream of the crop and king when it comes to display tech. Now the real question when it comes to that OLED is, will it come to the 11-inch iPad Pro? Because if you might have noticed, only the 12.9-inch iPad Pro in the current lineup has mini LED versus the 11-inch, even though it is still a great display and it still has ProMotion, it's stuck with that older LED technology that it's had since 2018. So will Apple also bring the OLED technology to the smaller 11-inch? That remains to be seen, but we do know we're going to get it at least on the 12.9-inch. And then also, I know I keep mentioning that it's going to be 12.9 inches, but it looks like we're still going to have the 11-inch form factor, but Apple's going to extend the screen just a tiny bit to 13 inches instead of 12.9. There were some rumors about maybe a 14 or maybe even a 16-inch iPad Pro. I don't think Apple's going to debut that as their kind of main lineup iPad, but maybe in the future they'll release a larger iPad Pro, which I would be all for, honestly, just to get a little bit more screen real estate and screen resolution. But we are looking at getting another 11-inch iPad Pro and then a 13-inch iPad Pro, a true 13-inch and not just a 12.9-inch diagonal. And then when it comes to these internals, we are expected to get the M3 chip in these iPads. Now again, it's probably overkill because the software doesn't really maybe need that, although with Stage Manager and extended monitor support and the hover feature and things like that, maybe the M3 will go a long way. So also what the M3 will give us is that standard 8 gigs of RAM, but maybe it could be pushed to 12 gigs of RAM of unified RAM storage inside of the actual iPad Pro, because before that we only had 4 gigs of RAM on the non-M powered iPads and that just wasn't nearly enough. And it would be great if Apple let us decide how much RAM we would get and not have to justify it or get the actual extra RAM just based on storage sizes. So let's see what Apple does with that lineup. I also fully expect Apple to get rid of that 128 gig form factor, the 128 gig SSD, and give us a 256 standard that could come with a price increase, but let's see what Apple does moving forward. And now there are some other rumors that Apple might go with a glass back to support wireless and reverse wireless charging. Another rumor is that we might get some sort of fast charging MagSafe charging capabilities on the iPad Pro, but what remains to be seen about the MagSafe is it going to be the MagSafe that we get on the new M2 MacBook Air and the MacBooks where the MagSafe kind of came back, or is it going to be MagSafe where it's kind of like the puck on the rear with the glass back where it's at wireless charging just with magnets attached to it? That remains to be seen with the future iPad Pro. And then a second thing that we are going to get is a new revamped Magic Keyboard. Now the Magic Keyboard is my favorite accessory to probably ever be released because it transforms your iPad into multiple different products. You go from it just being a tablet and a digital notepad and kind of just a viewing content consumption machine to now being a full-on workhorse and being able to power your workflows and being a full-on laptop replacement, at least for my personal use case. The Magic Keyboard from a design standpoint just stood out immediately, and from a functionality standpoint, it kind of met everything that I would ever want. Yes, the trackpad was a little bit small, but the way that you interact with the iPad, it really didn't let you feel that the trackpad was that small, because the way you use the trackpad, at least for me, it wasn't really from a point and click situation where I needed to drag the trackpad or the actual cursor from the left all the way to the right or whatever the case may be. It was more for gesture-based controls. It was an easier and more kind of accessible way to swipe up to go back to the home page or use 4 fingers to go and switch in between applications, versus my point and click is more so with my finger and gestures are with that amazing trackpad. So Mark Gurman is saying that this new Magic Keyboard is going to make the iPad Pro seem even more like a laptop replacement. It's going to keep that same cantilever design where it is floating and it looks beautiful. Maybe they'll add a set of function row keys. Highly doubt it because Apple just likes to stick with their own ways for some reason. But it would be great to get a full set of function row keys because we have seen third-party manufacturers create this same design with a function row and they're able to fit it perfectly. But another thing we're going to get is a larger trackpad. So for those people that like to use a trackpad as a point-and-click solution for your iPad Pro, this will be a great little addition because the trackpad, I remember when I first got it, like I mentioned, it looked small, it looked a little funky, it was very wide and very kind of short, but it ended up working out for my use case. But, you know, I'm not going to complain about a larger trackpad. And then the last thing I do want to mention about that Magic Keyboard is that maybe they might add more pin connectors to allow for data transfer and data pass-through. Because right now, there is a secondary USB-C port that is used for charging only through the Magic Keyboard, and it goes and it uses those 3 pin connectors on the rear. That would kind of change things up a little bit. That means you would need to actually get a brand new iPad in order to use it, or maybe Apple will find a way to still be able to use an older iPad with the new Magic Keyboard and just kind of keep the power pass-through going and not the data pass-through. Let's see what Apple ends up doing with that, because it would be great to be able to plug in a USB-C port or USB-C dongle through the Magic Keyboard and just get more I/O involved with the iPad itself. I would definitely welcome that addition to a new Magic Keyboard, but overall, the Magic Keyboard is going to be a great little addition or a nice little update to what's been around for a while now, right? Because again, 2018, iPad has looked exactly the same since then, besides maybe the camera bump, and then since 2020, the Magic Keyboard has also remained the same. In terms of release date and timelines, we're looking at the first half of 2024, so think spring, summer events for these things to be announced and kind of tested and then eventually be released to the public. I do think we're going to see a price increase. The 12.9 or 13-inch iPad will probably be $1199 to start, which again, it's a tablet, so it's hard to justify fully, especially when you have the M1 MacBook Air sitting pretty at $900 directly through Apple. But that is just my 2 cents on this. I know we're going to be getting a final revamp of the iPad Pro. I'm excited to see what Apple does because the iPad Pro, from a design standpoint, looks really good. It looks great. It looks like it's kind of made its final form, but Apple's going to do something to, again, reinvigorate the lineup a little bit. But that's going to do it for this video, everybody. Leave a comment down below of what you think about the iPad. Is it something you use on a daily basis? How do you use your iPad? Is it a computer for you? Is it a tablet? Which iPad do you own? All questions that I want to know and we can discuss in the comments below. If you made it to the end, leave a little dolphin in the comments down below as well so I know that you made it to the end. And if you guys want to watch some more iOS, iPadOS, or macOS coverage, especially with the iPhone event coming up, click on one of these videos right here and stay subscribed. I'm Fernando, and I'm out of here, everybody. Peace.